The future of Guyana cricket is here. Never miss a game. News, information, interviews, and more. Guyana cricket will now be live and exclusive on the Guyana TV network app. Now you can find us no matter where you are in the world. Follow Guyana Cricket Board on the Guyana TV network app. Catch every second, every ball, every wicket that drops on GCB TV channel on the Guyana TV network app. Yes, the channel is GCB TV on the Guyana TV network app. That's right, the Guyana Cricket Board has its own cricket TV channel where you can watch all games live, get all your Guyana cricket news and updates, watch replays of games, information, interviews, and more. Stay connected, stay informed, never miss a game. Watch it all for free on the Guyana TV network app. Download the app today on your home TV or on your phone. The future of Guyana cricket is here. Live and exclusive on the Guyana Cricket Board's own TV channel, GCB TV. Catch all the games worldwide on the GCB TV on the Guyana TV network app. If you've been staying updated with our content, then I'm sure the name Geeta Auta rings a bell. She is the screenplay writer for the film Secrets in the Rupununi. And today we'll be chatting with her and diving into the writing process of this unique film that surrounds the theme of love, betrayal, and murder. Are you excited? I know I am, so let's go. Okay guys, we're here with Geeta. Geeta, how are you doing today?
I'm fine, Daniela. How are you?
I'm actually really excited. Today we're going to be talking about Secrets in the Rupununi, and I know that you would have written the script for this film. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Secrets in the Rupununi is a very exciting story, and it's very dear to my heart. And I can't wait to see it on the big screen. And I'm pretty sure that everybody who heard about it, they are very excited and waiting on it.
Okay, so when I first heard about this project, heard about this film, I got really excited. And I remember thinking, Secrets in the Rupununi, is this something that, you know, will entail actual secrets in the Rupununi as it relates to the myths, you know, the creatures and stuff like that? But then when I got the proposal for the movie and I saw that it surrounded a lot of different themes, I found it really interesting. So can you talk to us a little bit about what inspired the themes that surrounded this movie?
Everyday living. We can relate to everything that happened in the movie. It's stories we see every day, and it unfolded in a movie in such a way that it captivates.
How long did it take? How long did the writing process take for this?
It took about 2 years.
Oh,
Yeah.
why so long? Was it, was it a matter of, oh, I should include this, exclude this, I should change the theme? What exactly, made it took that time?
whenever you finish a script or a book, a novel, whatever, you may be satisfied, but there is always something you could go back into that book or to go back into that story and change and adjust. Every time you go back, there is something you will change.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree. I think as creatives and being a writer myself, not exactly for big movies and scripting and stuff, but being a writer for poetry, what I can say is that the more you go back to something, the more it changes. So it's better for you to just say, okay, I like this the way it is, and then leave it as that. Because I look back at pieces from 2 years ago and I still change it.
Yeah.
Because writing and creativity, you evolve with it. So the more you learn, the more you grow, the more you see things differently. So I understand that process. But what really is exciting for me is taking this film or reading something that involves the Rupununi. Being a young woman of indigenous descent and having roots all the way in the Rupununi, that's really exciting for me, knowing that the communities and the region is being highlighted. So what exactly inspired that, and what took you and your writing all the way in the Rupununi?
So I have always heard stories of the Rupununi, and I'm always excited whenever I hear stories. Stories that is set in the Rupununi. I read a lot of stories, local stories and all of that. And nature is one of the things that stand out to me because I'm a nature lover. And setting the story in the Rupununi came naturally. So, my creativity went in a way that, what if we set a story in the Rupununi in such a way that it doesn't focus on the myths and legends of the Rupununi, but tells a story of the people in the Rupununi. Because you're excited. Me coming from a small community also, I always wanted to see the bigger picture. So I related to the Rupununi. The youths in the Rupununi, they want to come out to see a brighter life, a bigger life, and whatever. But coming out and seeing this life and being in it for a while, and you satisfy your mind that, okay, I've had enough, and now it's time to go back to roots. And that is how the idea came about.
I think what's very interesting and what I really love about the script is that I think it highlights the way of life in the Rupununi, in a village, in a faraway land, a faraway region. And I think as it relates to Guyana as a whole, being able to highlight what we would call one of the most treasured tourism products, one of the most treasured tourism products, that being able to highlight that, showcase that, and also dive into the lives of our indigenous people, that's really, really interesting for me, and I really appreciate that. So yeah, I was really excited to dive into the script as well. But what else can you tell us about the characters of Secrets in the Rupununi?
So I want to step back to the lives of the indigenous people. It's a fascinating life, and it is living off the land, and that by itself is a fascination to me, and especially to the indigenous foods. I love the indigenous foods, and I'm excited about that. But to relate to the characters, one of the main character in the story, actually, his dream was to always reach for higher. He has dreams to become this big person, accomplish big. So that is when he decided to venture out of the Rupununi to fulfill his dream, more or less. But then he got fed up with it when he realized the rat race, and it is not what he's he's accustomed to. He wanted the peace and quiet once again. And he decided to go for the peace and go back to the peace and quiet. That's when the story
really unfolds. Yeah. That's where everything starts to happen.
Because when you leave one way of life and you see another, you live another one for a while, there's a transition in between you. You're not the same person that you're going back there. You know, your horizon has widened and you're not going back to the same life.
Right.
Things change.
And then I think also like coping with those changes, you can you know, end up getting into unhealthy habits and toxic ways of dealing with that transitioning.
Like you rightfully said, in the transitioning and the changes, you pick up habits that you never had before, and then you take it back with you. So
when writing this script, of course you would have came up with all the characters and stuff like that. Who would you say is your favorite character, or which character would you say you know, gives us that interest when it comes to the movie? Well, there are 5 main characters that stand out in this movie, but one of them that's my heart, you know, it's very close. She's very close to my heart. Is a migrant girl who came to our land, and her story is very exciting, from small to grown up. She stands as a strong woman, standing for herself and accomplishing what she set out to do. I think that is one of the characters that we could talk about. But we have others that would enlighten you the same way, and you could relate to them in the same manner. So, and it adds to the script. So it brings the script to life. Right. So I understand that we're not trying to dive very deep into the script. However, how would you describe the script to someone who, you know, they're viewing us and they're looking for reasons to, okay, watch this movie. Why would I watch it? How would you describe the script to them? What is amazing about this script, Secrets in the Open Room, is that it's one of a kind. This is the first time a script like this will be produced in Guyana. It tells the story that it tells reaches not just Guyanese, not just Caribbean, but it reaches the world. So it is something very exciting to look forward to. And look at it, it's a one-of-a-kind movie. Unique. Definitely. So Gita, I know we've been chatting for a while, and I know that as production begins, we're going to be catching up with you more. We're going to be diving more into the movie itself, into the characters, and, you know, giving people some teasers and stuff like that. But for right now, this is going to be the end of our little chit chat until we meet again. So you can say hi and bye to our viewers. And yeah, that's it. Hi everyone. I hope you look forward to the other interview, which will be more exciting. I'll be talking about another project. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. Remember, when you think production, when you think movie here in Guyana, think Kalingo. My name is Daniela Arajo. Bye for now.
Guyana TV network.
Power through anything with Pulse Energy Drink. Choose from mango, sugar-free, and original. Get charged with Pulse.
Good day and welcome to another edition of HowZat. We have so much in store for you this week. Of course, Jemima Holmes, along with my trusted co-hosts Michelangelo Jacobus, Timothy Jaikaran, Sean Devers, Brandon Carlett, and we have a special guest with us today, the talented youth cricketer Jonathan Van Lang. Guys, glad to have you here. What's on the menu today?
Oh, yeah. Too much. Too much. I think it's a menu of 2 to 3 restaurants at one restaurant.
Yeah.
So,
I can safely say, we have the Force Division GC Pepsi 50 over final to go over. Of course, Jonathan was a part of,
So we get
the
some
winning
insight
team.
on
Yeah, we
what
get
was
some
going on.
insights. And I believe we had the under 17, the under
Inter-county.
19 DCB Inter Association.
Yeah, we
happening.
also had under
They had it under
We had the under
17
17
in
Inter-county
county,
wrapping
yeah.
up as well.
The women's,
Anything from under
women's
21?
on the 19.
Yeah.
2 matches were scheduled to be played on Monday, I think, but I don't know if it's going to be played because the rain.
the weather. Same thing in Borbis. I think a lot of rain in Borbis, and the under 21 fixtures were washed out completely.
It was on both Thursday
I know
and
that
Friday.
Jonathan Rampersad got a 5-wicket haul in the only match Albion. They
Right,
played
right.
they played Rose Hall Town
It was all town. Yeah.
with no umpires. The team decided to get 1 umpire each. That was the delay
The umpire
initially.
probably felt cold because it was pretty cold in
Yeah.
Borbis. So,
Yeah, on the regional side, we have quite a lot to discuss as
Of
well.
course, yes, the Harpy Eagles coming away with a draw in that 6th round. It's better than losing by 223 runs to Jamaica Scorpions,
Draw
but
felt like a win,
it did.
Yeah.
Actually, anyways, we'll get into that a little later. I'll tell you why I wasn't satisfied with the result that the Harpy Eagles settled for. But Mr. Van Lang, on the winning side with DCC in that Pepsi tournament last weekend, just, recap what was going on there for the people who might have missed it.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone on the table. Yeah, it was pretty enjoyable and satisfying to be a part of the victory. I think it's about 10 years or something like that we didn't get the sister over. So yeah, the team was just happy to take that home from GCC, and we all know the rivalry between the two clubs is a bit old-fashioned. So yeah, that's enjoyable and satisfying.
And you can get 2 fifth overs in 1 year
Yeah. With
because the West Indian
Toucan
imports.
Yeah.
And you've already beaten GCC in the preliminary match.
Yep, we did. I think we had a bigger victory in the preliminary match and in the finals.
And that was from
Yeah.
the previous week before, right?
Yeah.
So, if you could just tell us about the pitch conditions and so on, your assessment. Of course, you were all around the bowl. Was it medium fast or you bowl fast?
No, medium fast.
Medium fast.
Emphasis on the medium.
Yeah. Yeah, so, what was your assessment of the pitch? Of course, you made 39 or something around there, and you took 2 wickets as well. So, how was the pitch to you, both as a batsman and as a bowler?
I think it was a bit on the dry end, especially in the second innings. It started, and later off in the first innings as well, it started to spin a bit more, started to play a bit more tricks. Some pop, some ball bounced, some ball kept a bit low. So it wasn't a pitch that you could have just come and score freely. You had to get in yourself, and even you had to leave alone some bad balls as well just to get yourself in a bit more. So that's why I think it was such a, I don't know if you want to say low scoring final.
All right, so for those of you who might not have followed the final, DCC, they batted for us. They won the toss actually, and I think it was a toss to be won because when you looked at the pitch, if you won a toss, you definitely wanted to be batting first because we all know that pitch would have turned into a dustbin in the second innings, and DCC found it quite hard to get going, especially in the middle. I know you and Brandon Jaikaran, who top scored with 53. you guys stitched together quite a defining partnership in the middle because you really set the stage for Barnwell and the others to come and put the finishing touches. But ultimately, you finished with I would say it's a par score or somewhere thereabouts. So you got dismissed with a ball that kept quite low. I think we could both agree that the uneven bunks was it that caught you?
Yeah, I think it kept a bit low, but I mean, it's still not an excuse. I think I was premeditating the goal instead of just playing every ball on the merit. But at this stage, I think that it was my role to try to increase the run rate a bit more. So,
What do you have coming up when you were in the under 19? You were in the under 19 competition.
yeah, we have a game against I think East Coast on Tuesday, in transport. So, just playing out the inter-association, then the inter-companies and stuff like that, and the rest of the first division matches we have.
Alright.
And of course, we could expect you in the under 21 tournament.
Yeah,
also.
definitely.
All right, wonderful. Guys, we're going to take a break right now, and then when we get back, we're going to get into finer detail about some of the cricket that happened over the past week. You're going to understand why some of us were probably not so satisfied with the draw from the Harpy Eagles or satisfied with the draw from the Harpy Eagles. So lots more knowledge coming up on the other side of the break. Of course, this is HowZat. This week, we're filming from the lovely Everest Cricket Club ground. Stay with us. We have more on the other side of the break.
Power through anything with Pulse Energy Drink. Choose from mango, sugar-free, and original. Get charged with Pulse.
Welcome to Hibiscus Restaurant, Sports Bar, and Nightclub. We offer fine dining, a sports bar, dancing, and special events. Come and enjoy a great Caribbean meal or sit and enjoy the games. Watch for our upcoming special events and live shows. Hibiscus, where you can have a wonderful time with family and friends. We are located at 8344 West Oakland Park Boulevard, Sunrise, Florida. Come out today and enjoy our wonderful atmosphere. Hibiscus Restaurant, Sports Bar, and Nightclub. We are your entertainment center in Sunrise, Florida.
Good evening, guys, and welcome back to HowZat. This is where we go into details of all things cricket in Guyana and around the world. But I'm so excited for the regional and international. But Michelangelo, what has been happening locally?
Locally, over the last weekend, rain put paid to most of the matches on Sunday. Well, all of the matches on Sunday were rained out, right? So, of course, we already discussed the GCA Pepsi final, which Jonathan and team won. But aside from that, the Dave's West Indian 50 over first division competition continued, and we had two very lopsided victories from the joint services teams, GDF and Police. I think Police trashed Maltinos badly. They won by 9 wickets. Kevin Bully made a 39 ball 101. They chased them 179 in 20 overs or just over. And GDF, on the other hand, they won by 200 runs. Yeah, one of the heaviest defeats in a long time.
I think Garfield Benjamin again had some runs.
Yeah, Garfield Benjamin and Leon Andrews.
Yeah.
They had some runs, and Leon Swami came back with the ball for them. Took 5 wickets. Of course, you got some Barbishas on that GDF.
Garfield needs some Barbishas.
Yeah, Quasi McLaw is there. He made a 27 off of 13 or something like that. Took another 2 wickets. Nigel Deardat took
Yeah,
a
he
couple
was
as
a
well.
wicked, yeah.
So yeah, that's it in a nutshell for the GCA competitions. Anything else from
Yeah,
you
in
guys?
Bartica, Gladiators won the Bartica T20
Yeah,
title,
Ronaldo Jeffrey.
and Ronaldo Jeffrey was named man of the series. 480 runs in 5 innings, including, I think, 4 centuries.
Oh.
The only time he failed, well, 29 is not really failing, was in the final.
Yeah, and Sean, interestingly, now that competition is done, he's over at Maltino's. Did you know that?
Yes, I know.
He opened the batting and he made all of 6.
Yeah.
So different quality here in Georgetown.
Not really. You gotta acclimatize and get his nerves settled in.
You made the
Next
thing
game.
sound like he going to England.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's the
He's
same
moving
hot
from
sun.
Essequibo
But guys,
to
again,
Georgetown.
Didn't we already discuss
Yeah.
it?
Oh, right. He was batting on a
It's
concrete.
a different thing.
Give him
You
some
don't know
time.
it's
Ball
about-
coming on
yeah,
better
yeah,
on
yeah.
the concrete.
And over the weekend also, they had the DCB under 19 Inter-Association Cricket. Georgetown and East Coast won the take early lead. And the Latif siblings, they and Jaden Dowling, that's the son of Travis Dowling, the former West Indies player. They had a good game. They all made 50s. And Georgetown defeated East Bank.
So Jonathan, you would have missed that game.
Yeah.
I think you were captain for that side, right?
Yeah.
All right.
And on the other game that was played, Sachin Balbagin,
he made
Balbagin
a
got a double
double
century.
century,
Yeah, for West Demerara.
That's good to see.
Oh, but
Yeah.
that, guys, let's talk about that game.
Uh-huh.
Is that the game against Upper Demerara?
Yes.
Yes.
Actually,
Yes.
Some please let the viewers know how much Upper Demerara were bowled out for.
20.
Let's make a guess.
Less than 30.
less than
25.
20.
Yeah.
25.
yeah.
How does 11 people get bowled out for 25? It's not that hard.
All right, see, that's something I would like us to.
The standard of the Upper Demerara team is not the only person I think that plays from Upper Demerara is the captain. All the other players come from all over the place.
They're
Primarily
usually from the
Georgetown.
reserves of the other inter-associations.
Yeah, but my thing is, if you know
Even
the team,
when they play in the fourth division or the not fourth division, they don't play. Their
Can't
standard
make
is
it
not
fourth
high
division.
as fourth division. When they play in GCA cricket,
Mm.
all the Georgetown players play for them to make up a team.
yeah, I think what is the sense of trying to get a team from a particular area?
And there's no cricket.
And there's no cricket
But no
being
cricket
played
period,
there,
because
so-
I don't
I
hear about
understand
cricket
there's
in
not
Upper
even a
Demerara.
pitch there.
Wow.
It's always going to make the area look bad
Might
because.
be for votes.
Oh, Sean.
No, I talk the truth. I talk the
Sure.
truth.
Yeah.
It might be for votes.
I'm not disagreeing with you. It's just
Yes.
funny. It's
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
funny.
it is. And it's a sad situation, really. And if you're looking to develop cricket, you can't just ignore one area and focus on the rest. And typically, when you see underage cricket, there's always low-scoring encounters, almost always.
Yeah. The GCB on the 17 Inter-County tournament
Yeah,
wrapped
that
up
wrapped
this
up
week.
as well.
Yeah.
Were you guys surprised that Demerara beat Burbies?
No.
I know.
I wasn't.
No,
Even me, I'm not surprised.
no Demerara had the top batters.
Yeah,
Yes.
there were people that were like, "Oh my God, Demerara!" And I was like,
Okay.
"Have you been paying attention?"
No.
Yeah, right.
So Demerara beat Burbies. Actually, Burbies batted first, made 124 all out. And listen, whoever's the batting coach in Burbies, something needs to be said. Because I was watching the game and I literally, when I showed up there, I saw a wicket fall. And within the space of 5 minutes, they were bowled out. And the wicket I saw fall was the 6th wicket.
So that's 4 wickets in 5 minutes.
Quick time, quick
Five
time, quick
wickets
time.
in.
Of course, Shamar Apple, he was in the thick of things. I think he had a stumping there, and then there
Yeah.
were 2 bowls from Dave Mahabir. But Barbies made 124 for 10. Their captain top scoring with, I believe, 43.
He top
And
scored in
then-
all 3 games.
Yeah.
Ramdial.
Romario it is?
Yeah.
Romario
Yeah, and that
Ramdal.
was the only game he didn't get a 50. He got 50s in both.
First games
Previous
against
games.
Essequibo
Yeah.
and Select 11. Then Demerara, of course, cruised to the target in 34 overs, 128 for 4.
Powered
Again,
by
Shamar
Marshall.
Apple top scoring with 61 off 59. 9 fours and 2 sixes. Van Lam,
boy.
y'all, listen, what going on with Demerara? What's the key right now? Because you guys have some of the best batters at the under 17, under 19 age group. What are the coaches telling you? We are eating actually. That's what I
Make
want.
some
Provision.
notes and I will pass it
Provision.
on to the Bobby
Tell them provision.
I just think, well, I could speak for DCC, but what the coaches, well, Coach Best is now in India, the new coach Mr. Gore, and even the senior players, when they're in the country in long periods, and Christie is always in the club, you know, they try to instill in, especially me and the young batters, that you could always back your built-in makeup. So even if you bat 2-3 overs and you're struggling, you get 3 runs, 3 overs, you could always back yourself, oh, you could get 20 off this over, you could even get 10. And I think even from young, the batters were always brought up with the mindset. I don't know if God Coach Ned's mindset, you bat in 10s. So you bat in 10 you get 10 singles, 10 runs. You bat 100 balls, you get 100 singles, 100 runs. And you could always squeeze a boundary here and there. So I just think there's the key to batting. Well, that I was taught. I mean, sometimes you would do the opposite. Pressure gets to you, yeah, but I mean, there's cricket.
And the big difference now, what I've observed with especially the under 19 team, you guys have matured, you've gotten stronger, you hit the ball harder. Of course, the Barbicians are a little more subdued in getting their runs, Escribo more so. So that's one of the advantages that you guys have gotten.
But you see, another advantage I believe that DCC has as well. That's why anybody asks me which club you should join, I would tell them join DCC. Why? We have Barnwell and we have Imlak and we have these coaches. They're able now to what I would call you graduate from leadership to mentorship. So I'm now able to mentor the younger talent, these guys that look up to me. And as long as you have a proper mentor, you will continue to see results like what DCC has been producing so
Yeah,
far.
Timothy, you make an interesting point because if we sit down now and consider the other clubs and how many of their senior players actually spend a considerable amount of time at the club, not just, playing wherever first division, second division tournament they have to play, but, interacting with the younger players in the club, we won't find much of them.
True.
Yeah, so
I can
Leon Johnson bowling leg spin in the final.
Leon played in that final.
Yeah.
I think more recently he has been
Yeah.
started coming back
Yeah,
around
he even
GCC.
practiced.
You can see him out there with sessions with the youth team, the senior team.
Yeah.
So I guess that's his way of trying to give back now.
Yes, so let's go, Jemima, to some
Yeah,
regional
no, because
cricket.
I was just about to
I
say,
want to go there.
speaking of Jano,
Yeah.
his legacy right now is well and alive because
Yep.
the Guyana Harpy Eagles are eyeing possibly another West Indies Championship title. This one will be a three-peat.
Yeah.
And for me, that is quite an amazing achievement if the Harpy Eagles are able to pull it off later
8
this
in
week.
10 seasons.
That's crazy.
Since the franchise began.
They own
And the
it.
14th in all.
They own
Since
that
1966.
Yep.
So, Brandon, you got the scores?
Yeah, I think the Guyana Harpy Eagles actually, Jemima always using this word on this show, settled for a draw. But I felt, having lost 4 innings, right? You had to bat and bat long. You had to be sure that you're in a position of safety.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
That was not my contention with what happened with the Harpy Eagles. My contention is this. So what happened was that I think Windward, in reply to the, I think it was, what was he, lead 3-something by then?
Yeah.
In reply to the lead, Leeward, let me correct myself, Leeward were cruising at 98 without loss, somewhere thereabout. And then they had the first wicket. I mean, obviously, I know in those 98 runs, the bowlers were very frustrated. Then Harpy Eagles came, they got 3 quick wickets. Permal got 2, Ashmi Ned got 1. And then they brought Sinclair into the attack. He bowled a few overs but couldn't get anything. I think he was bowling alongside Ned or Permal. Couldn't get anything in that phase.
Continues
And
to
then
bowl too fast and flat.
Sean, we talking about the by bowling.
No,
We
that's
talk-
why he didn't get made an impact.
So you're saying he's not flighting it up.
Yes,
So-
he's not
My
flighting
thing
the
is,
ball,
right?
he's not spinning it.
So after that session, we were approaching the 4 o'clock period. Obviously, the game is called at 5. And then all of a sudden, the Harpy Eagles are shaking hands with Leeward.
Yeah,
we have an hour more, and those 3 wickets came within 2 overs of each other, in about 2 or 3 overs. So I was a bit frustrated that they gave up so easily, thinking that, we get these 3 wickets, but we ain't getting nothing anymore because we
So-
bowled 5 more overs.
Just to interject here, right? For me, a draw is all well and good. Of course, even better that Trinidad lost to
Yeah.
Jamaica, right? But I think we batted a little too longer than we should have on the morning session of the last day. I mean, we already had 300 plus lead, and the hour before lunch is when the tail enders came in, as after Imlach and
Yeah.
everybody got out.
I personally
And
thought
I think that they should have declared at least a half hour before lunch, give the faster ones a run at the Leeward Islands, and then you have 2 sessions after lunch to see if you can win outright. So that's just my take on that.
That is what I always say. They lack the killer instinct. A
Yes.
few weeks ago, I said, listen, they need to probably enforce the follow-on. Do things to
at
win.
far to forward Jamaica.
But if you were there, then you would have seen the energy levels of Smith and Ali Mohammed. They took
fast
all the
bowlers.
wickets in the
force
first
in-
inning.
Yeah.
Right.
So they couldn't have enforced the follow-on
Yeah.
because the fast bowlers were tired.
But
If
most of
you
them
bowl
are
for two-
medium pacers. Let's not.
Oh, well, there was no follow-on to enforce, you know, Sean.
Most of them are medium pacers.
Yeah,
not
there was
all
no
of them.
follow-on to
I think he's
enforce.
talking about that Jamaica.
Oh, you're talking about the
Yeah,
Jamaica
match.
yeah,
Right,
that
right,
Jamaica
right.
for far to
Yeah,
forward.
yeah.
I
And
thought
this match here, they batted time. They put themselves in a position where they could not have lost. Looking at the results, they were looking at the Jamaica Trinidad match. And if Trinidad were looking to win, then they would have
No,
stepped
but-
on the gas.
But Sean, I think we're forgetting that Trinidad lost since the night before.
Yeah,
That
Trinidad
result
last
was
since the
already
third.
yeah, but that
sealed
is what
by
made them
time.
be comfortable. They would have
Yes,
still
they
drawn
know.
and
And
ended
the
up
points-
on above
Right.
Trinidad.
That's
Yeah,
the
but
reason. That's the reason.
That's a good cricketing reason.
Yeah.
Wait. All right. So let's have the cricketer,
Yeah.
right?
He's a captain, by the way, so
Good.
put
good.
yourself in that position.
Leadership
Yeah.
mentality. What would you have done on that 4th day? Would you have continued to try to get more
And
runs
let me
to ensure the
interject.
draw?
Just for a second, the Leeward Islands batters, Joel and Michael Louis and all of them, they're big hitters. They score quickly. So Guyana 101 put themselves in a position where the runs could have come. Jonathan, your thoughts?
What would you have done?
I wasn't following the game much, but based on the scorecard, what I think they could have done, I think I agree with Jemima in terms of bowling out the extra hour. But again, it all comes down to the energy
And
levels of the men.
Niall Smith was injured.
Well,
injured.
again,
Yeah.
that's all
Yeah.
impactful
Yeah.
things that could happen in the game because you still got one more game to go. You don't want to burn out your
No.
men, and then the next
Yeah.
game you ain't got the resources. So I think, I mean, once they're at the top of the table, they just gotta find a way not to lose this game against Trinidad. So I'm sure the analysts and the coach is working together to find the best solution for the team.
And they were, I think so.
Yeah.
It's just, in the end,
Yeah.
It
a result.
worked out.
And,
yeah.
and now this result by both teams, one favorable and one not, sets up the tournament for the final match in Trinidad and Tobago at the in Port of Spain at the Queen's Park Oval to be
That
a
venue was
championship
changed.
match.
It's a championship.
That venue was changed. Was it
It's
supposed to be Brian
It was
Lara
supposed to be
initially?
BLCA, yeah.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't supposed to.
Well, let's just mention,
No,
guys.
I always book my flight in.
Let's just mention that the Harpegos are 111.6 points and Trinidad and Tobago 105.4. So all
So it's
to
about
play for.
5 to 6
And if
points.
Barbados
push us.
win,
Can I
they
ask a
could
question?
get 12 points
So can I ask a question, Brandon? Let's just say
and
the-
bring second.
let's just say the game plays out and it ends in a draw. What would happen in that situation? Then?
But
Well,
then it
whoever
would be
gets
dependent
first
on
innings
who gets
points.
first
For-
innings
first
points and
innings
how
points,
many
yeah.
fast bowling points each team
It's
collects.
all to play for.
Yeah.
We have to. But special shout out to Kevlin Anderson
Yeah.
and Tevin Imlap scoring centuries.
Yeah.
And Kevlon actually had an unbeaten half century in the first innings as well.
So he
Save
has,
them.
He has 522 runs this season. But let's get into some more exciting cricket, guys. The IPL.
Yes.
Aye.
My team is doing well. Yours not so much.
Alright.
But, you know,
After crying on my team.
Bumrah has just returned, so let's
I thought I said retired.
Patient. We can be patient.
Mumbai will find a way.
Alright, so what's the IPL standings looking like, Brandon? Any idea?
I
At the top
Two
is
teams
Delhi
are on
Capitals.
6.
Delhi
Yeah.
Capitals are thus far unbeaten in 3 games.
Not for long.
And my team is also on 6 points.
They've been playing
Your
AP
team is
cricket.
Gujarat?
Yeah,
Rutherford.
Rutherford
You like to
and
Rutherford.
Yes, yes.
Shubman Gill.
So Gujarat
Yeah, that's
has
why
3
we were
wins
red
from
today, you
4.
know.
Oh, the two
Yeah, isn't it gender weapon?
Oh,
Yeah,
was
so
LSG?
Gujarat got
Gujarat Titans.
LSG's who team? LSG's
My
who
team.
MSG, you mean? According to the producer.
Well, LSG is sitting at number 6. They have 4 points, but quite a few teams actually have 4 points.
Yeah, I don't think the
Punjab Kings,
points.
KKR, LSG.
At this point,
It's not that
Yes,
important
yes,
right
no,
now.
it's very early in the season.
Yeah.
But Delhi's currently the team to beat in the IPL. Of course, Timothy's and Sean's team recently handed my team their first loss.
Yeah.
And I was very sad and disappointed
We were
about
happy.
that. Because why are y'all crying on my team? This is me here.
At
You
least
see how nice you look in the red Timothy when I buy you the jersey? Oh, boy.
RCB. No, RCB is not going to win, you know. You see our boy Sean Rutherford, he did it. I feel proud for him. I feel really good. And I was telling Sean earlier that Rutherford needs to remain in that impact player position. Don't play in the 11. Just be there. You're doing well. Stay there.
Before we wrap things up, who's your IPL team?
RCB.
RCB.
You want to
Yeah.
sit next to
I-
Finally,
Jemima?
some support to this table.
We gotta take care of the show.
I am crushed
No,
between.
come back next week. Come back. I got
I
you
made
next
a
week.
bet that RCB is
Alright.
going to win.
Who is the player that you look at most in the IPL?
I like Sherifin a lot.
Should be good, right?
He's one. And I'm not a foreign player, you can basically say it's Butler.
Just Butler.
Yeah, but
Then why are you on RCB?
I've been with them from, not I've been with them, but I've been a supporter from a very long
You
time.
see?
Switch
No,
over.
no, no. There's no switching in this.
Yeah.
No switching happening.
Yeah.
All right, guys. That's all for our cricket updates this week. Of course, we have more of HowZat to come. An interesting discussion on the other side of the break. I would say this is probably the discussion that has ruled the cricket fraternity this entire week.
Players of the
Yeah.
week.
Yeah,
So-
so we'll
so-
have that.
We have some big discussions
After we
coming.
come back, we're filming live from beautiful Guyana.
Power through anything with Pulse Energy Drink. Choose from mango, sugar-free, and original. Get charged with Pulse.
Welcome back to HowZat. I know the excitement is so much that Jemima was heading into another segment. But before we head there, let's talk about what's happening behind the local arena. And we know the Guyana Cricket Board Women's Inter-County Tournament started. We know or we didn't?
We know.
We know.
It felt like we didn't know.
Yeah.
It was
Well,
short notice.
I heard about it from somebody.
Oh, you see?
Alright, say what's the thing, right?
And all the games were to be played at LBI, and then because of the camp, which was for the under 15 national team,
Yes.
they shifted the last 2 matches
To transport.
on Monday to transport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they had 1 match to be played per day, and because of that short time, they fit in 2 matches. So them Borbies had to play twice in 1 day.
You know when I heard about it, Brandon? On Sunday when I was outside of church and a friend and I were yapping and he said, you know like a female match is going. He's like, no. Sunday and it's the game starts on Saturday, right?
See what I'm saying? That
Alright,
speaks
so-
volume.
There was a blast of information released from the GCB on Thursday or Friday. I can't remember correctly, right?
I
But
think it was around Thursday.
But
Thursday.
somewhere in the midst of all of the under 21 zones being drawn, the fixtures being drawn up, the DCB Inter Association. Here I saw a little thing about the women's inter-county squads were announced, the fixtures were released. Very short. I had no idea that there was an upcoming thing. And for me, if you're a sport journalist and you don't know about these things, it reflects poorly on you. But in this case, I don't think it's on us.
No, you
It's
can't
on
blame
them.
yourself. Yeah. I think that's not only us as journalists. Players were unaware. They were given short notice that this tournament is about to start. And that's not good. Communication is key. And if you cannot communicate with the players, what message are you sending? It's poor.
And
Quick question for you guys. Who is the public relations officer with GCB?
Sean probably know the boys. Sean, you know
There are several public relations officers. Mr. Raphael, he's the main public relations officer.
I have
That's the,
never
that's
seen
the
that
person
guy.
on the board,
Yeah, he's
but that person doesn't relate to the public.
no.
Wow.
He was the president of Martinos when I played cricket there.
Sounds like a veteran.
And they're using now, I think, the guy at Kaicho News. He worked all over the place.
No.
he's
That
not
guy,
anymore.
that guy.
Not
mm-mm.
anymore. Not
We're
anymore.
Well,
far
then-
past there.
Well,
I'll go as far to say that they currently don't have a designated. Like when it comes to somebody
Anthony
writing press
Danrad
releases,
does,
Yeah,
yes, he
Anthony
does
sent
the
us most of
bulk
it.
of the work.
yeah,
And then there's somebody doing social media, just posting
yeah.
random stuff on social media. But my thing is, why are you focusing on social media, but you don't have a solid public relations mechanism?
Exactly.
I mean, I understand we're in the digital age, we have a WhatsApp group, and you feel like you could post updates in a WhatsApp group. But that isn't public relations at its core.
No.
We can't continue to depend on these little things thinking that social media is going to do the job for us. And when I see these things about, let me tell you something. When it comes to female sport, I get so upset
It's
all
already-
the time
It's already underwhelming.
because
Yeah.
it's like the excuse is always, oh, the women don't play the level that the men play at, blah, blah, blah. Does that mean you gotta treat them like stupidness?
No.
That is no excuse to treat like stepchildren or like orphans. You can't continue to do it.
Yeah, but
You can't continue to
if
do
you
that.
look
Well,
at
listen
it-
to this.
Yeah.
Martinos had a game over the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
They picked Casey Schultz.
Yeah.
They didn't know that Casey Schultz had to play the same weekend for Demerara. That's how bad the level of communication was.
And my other contention with how and when this tournament was organized also, I want to ask you guys if any of us know when is the regional Cricket West Indies' women's tournament,
After
corresponding tournament.
After they return from the
Qualifiers.
And that is my
Yeah.
problem. Why do you organize a tournament and your best players
are not here.
are not here? What are you want people to come and watch the cricket. You want people to say, oh, this person playing, the person playing. But you come and you don't see the stars. That doesn't make sense.
100% agree with you.
That makes
Jemima.
no sense. What is the bargaining chip then? How are you attracting fans to the game if I understand that
Are
everybody
you
needs their
looking to
exposure.
attract fans in the first
Exactly.
place?
That's the first
Right?
thing. I know you're looking to expose the other players, but there needs to be a bargaining chip for fans to come and say, hey, we could go and see Shabika Gajna be playing the girls play for West
Or
Indies.
Ashmi
We could see
Munisar.
Monisar. We could see Sherry Ann Fraser and these other players. You can't expect that because you wait until everybody gone to play for West Indies and then you wake up and decide, hey, we give a women's tournament this weekend.
Which comes back to something I said, I think it was on the first show. I can't remember if it's the first or second. But they need to employ a proper PR strategy. And as you said, not just posting on Facebook and WhatsApp, because anybody can do that. Anybody with a phone can post on Facebook and WhatsApp. And nobody pays attention, it gets lost. But you need to invest some money. If you look at the women IPL or the women Big Bash, they have a crowd. They have a big crowd.
Yep.
They have the action. Might be the juice man alone watching the girls play when they are playing. So they need to employ a proper strategy in the sense that, listen, we might have to pay influencer a certain amount of money, but he has over 50,000 followers, over 100,000 followers. When he publicizes this for us, it brings more fans to the stadium because I'm pretty sure there are fans that want to come to female cricket, but they don't know. You know when the men are playing, but you don't know when the female. Why are the female cricketers being treated like they're washcloths?
But
You
the
gotta
thing
put
is,
money into it.
Yeah,
We
I
can-
understand all of that, but remember, let's look at it from another perspective. Look at the amount of cricket that is currently being played. There's the regional 40. I mean, the Guyana Harpies are abroad.
Yeah.
But the Guyana Cricket Board, they actually have to run certain affairs and get certain things done. Then there's the under 21. Then there's the under 17, the under 15 coming up. There's the under 19 inter association. So there's a lot of cricket. So that's probably the reason why they probably treating the women's tournament as the least.
But that's we have five
What I've
tournaments.
seen
Yes.
We just put this one
There's
in the
nothing
corner
like
and
this.
focus
That's
on the
how
rest.
it seems.
That's how it comes.
What I've seen recently, well, more than recently, we don't get emails
Right.
with
It's
information.
strictly WhatsApp.
You look at the WhatsApp. If you don't have a WhatsApp, which is very bad, then you can't get no news, and they're sending it on the Facebook. If your doesn't have a Facebook, then you wouldn't know. Back in the days, well, not so far back, like a year or two ago, they used to send the emails to each media operative.
Yeah. I think that's missing. They need to manage themselves. I know the time is condensed in terms of running all these tournaments. Then you got to look at the weather and all these things. And because it's a nationwide under 21 tournament, it's probably new to some of the people at the Guyana Cricket Board to run off something such big, you know, and they have to communicate. And communication is an issue.
Yeah. But you see, Brandon, it boils back to what I said before. You need a proper PR strategy. What is the PR department doing? Why? When a PR department meet, they're supposed to sit down and say, we have 12 months in 1 year. We're going to start off with this tournament and we're going to do this tournament. Don't put that tournament there because it's going to be overshadowed by this tournament.
Yeah.
We need maximum visibility from these things. So we're going to push the under 19 to June and bring the females up to January. You sit and you plan your entire year, and you don't plan it for plan's sake, but you plan it in a strategic way.
Cater for the rain as well.
Exactly. You say, well, rain is falling May, June. We shouldn't put this in. But no, you won't put the females to play during the rainy season.
And to piggyback on what Timothy said about strategy and planning to not overshadow something, we had the under 17 inter-county tournament happening last week. When is the CWI Rising Stars tournament? It's in August.
Yeah.
This is April. That tournament is in August.
Oh, yeah.
That under 17 tournament could have waited
Until
until June,
Yes.
July. I mean, we know we have May, June rains in Guyana. That's customary.
end of June.
But we could find a week in June to stitch in that tournament. And then last week, we could have given the women the visibility that they probably needed, because the under 17 tournament got a certain amount of visibility before we had the flood of the Demerara Cricket Board tournament, before the under 21 and all that came crashing in on the weekend, along with the women's tournament. So there was enough time.
And that's
for the
why
under
I
17's
suggested
tournament.
the cricket board has a press conference once every 3 months.
Yeah.
And that would give the journalists an opportunity to interact with the cricket board people and say what you would like, what would be good for the media, what would they like. So you have an interactive session. If you keep sending press releases, you can't talk to a press release.
So you could try.
I mean, yeah, that's something good. The last time they had a press conference shot was at Grand Coastal.
Yes,
a big
that was a
fancy
big one.
hotel.
Everybody were looking like us.
Yes, when they said
That
they
was-
did have, when they
that
had
was
$8 in their account,
Oh
and,
my
and they had the cricket board office.
That was
to
also
facilitate that.
the press conference where they announced the team as the Guyana Harpy Eagles.
Yes.
So that was so long ago.
It was there. It
Yeah.
feels like
It was so
I
long
love
ago.
such a long time ago.
So if you guys are listening, we highlighted the problems that's happening. So we're providing a solution to the Guyana Cricket Board. Hold a press conference, and we're not going to be at the press conference to bash you guys.
Yes, and not every week.
Right? We won't do
Once
that.
every 3 months.
Yes,
that
we're
would be
not
good
asking
enough.
for too much. I mean, me and Sean, you guys can probably not invite us.
No, I have to be invited.
No, Sean get invited, right? But Sean got a limit of 2 questions.
Yeah.
And Sean can't ask anything more than that. I might get away with something extra.
We're okay with limiting ourselves.
Yes,
because we're not
limited
selfish.
questions to each media house.
Right.
Yeah.
We're not
That's
asking
fair.
for much. We just want to see Guyana cricket move forward.
Yeah.
And female cricket as
And
well.
know what's happening.
Yes, we have to place some emphasis on communication. It is key.
It is.
The media
Communication
can't
bridges
let
the
people
gap
know
between
what happens if
society.
they don't know what is happening.
Exactly. All right, guys. The most exciting part is coming up.
See?
On the other side of the break.
Finally.
Guys, let me just say, we're feeling a bit bigger today because Edward D. Bihari sponsored us once again with a large
Fancy
Pulse
stuff.
energy drink.
They listen to my complaints,
cheers to
Brandon.
you guys. Yeah. See you guys on the other side of the break.
Guyana TV Network.
Welcome to Hibiscus Restaurant, Sports Bar, and Nightclub. We offer fine dining, a sports bar, dancing, and special events. Come and enjoy a great Caribbean meal or sit and enjoy the games. Watch for our upcoming special events and live shows. Hibiscus, where you can have a wonderful time with family and friends. We are located at 8344 West Oakland Park Boulevard, Sunrise, Florida. Come out today and enjoy our wonderful atmosphere. Hibiscus Restaurant, Sports Bar, and Nightclub. We are your entertainment center in Sunrise, Florida.
Welcome back, guys. You're tuned in to HowZat, Guyana's weekly cricket TV talk show. This is the juicy discussion. This is the one topic that has been trending in the world of Caribbean cricket for the entire week, and that is the change in hands of the West Indies captaincy. Not only did we see the T20 captaincy change from Rovman Powell to Shea Hope, but we also heard that Craig Brathwaite has stepped down from Test captaincy, and we'll have a new Test captain probably announced in the next few weeks or probably in a month's time. Of course, it's important to mention that apparently Brathwaite stepped down from captaincy since early in the year, but we are now being informed in April. The last time they played was in Pakistan in January.
Before that series, I think he.
Good.
Yeah.
And now in April, we're finally figuring out that Brathwaite has stepped down. So I want to find out, do you guys think that this is a matter of them just waiting on the right time to announce it? Or could it have been done in January to, not damage anybody's egos?
What is the right time?
Alright. I don't think there's a right time
No.
with that. What I do think, however, is that with doing that, they've given themselves some time to weigh their options.
Because
Yeah.
frankly, there is no one standout player among the West Indies regulars that you can say, hey, this guy should be captain. There is nobody like that. And correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you're
No,
correct.
there's no correction.
If Leon Johnson was there, he would have been.
Yeah, but he had to make runs.
Yeah.
And he would have been the captain, but he wasn't consistently making runs. If he'd made 200s,
At least.
he would have been the captain.
Easy.
But that's water under the bridge.
Yeah.
But
So he's
we
to
got
move
some
forward.
guys that, Sean, like you mentioned, that made 200s and more in the recent West Indies
Well, we
championship.
had
Captain.
3800s up to now in this year's tournament.
And captain.
38, including 2 double centuries.
So, Sean, you think we could pick from that group?
No, you wouldn't pick Dave.
Jason
Jason
Mohammed.
Mohammed.
Even though he's leading.
And
right
he's
now.
leading.
Not even
He's
for a spot in the
still
team,
leading.
Sean? Not
No,
even for a spot.
No,
I don't think
Anderson
he's
is
still
second.
leading.
Yes, he's
Yes,
still
yes,
leading.
yes,
He's
yes,
leading.
yes,
Oh my
He's still
God.
Anderson is second
Anderson
place.
is second and
We gotta
Imlach
do
is third.
something.
And
We
Imlach
gotta do
is third.
something.
2 Guyanese in the top 5.
And it's important to mention that
and
after-
Josh De Silva is also
Fourth.
5th.
Fourth.
After that first, let's say about the first 4 or 5 rounds, Guyana didn't have anybody in that top 5 for
No.
runs.
So that
Those
means-
guys came in the last 2 rounds, let's say,
they worked.
and really
Yeah.
got to the top of those charts. But we're not talking about these 2 Guyanese players per se right now. Of course, to give you guys some context, Cricket West Indies held a grand press conference in Antigua. I think it's always important to mention where Cricket West Indies decides to have their engagements. So they had this grand press conference in Antigua in excess of an hour long, and I think there was the director of cricket, Jamal Bascom is his name. Miles Bascom.
Bascom.
We had Chris Daring there. He's the new CEO of
yes.
Cricket West Indies. We had the president, of course, Dr. Kishore Shallow. And of course, the all-format captain. And this press conference really came in time to coincide with the date that Darren Sammy was taking over as the all-format captain.
Yeah.
Coach, sorry.
Yeah.
You know why I'm saying all-format captain? I have something on my mind.
All right.
The all-format coach of Cricket West Indies senior men's teams. A lot of things were said in that press conference. A lot of justifications were made. Basically, Sammy said that we are not deciding based on, just 1 and 2 performances. We're going to the stats now. We're getting down to the numbers. Shea Hope is the new T20 captain. Does Shea Hope have the stats to back up that appointment?
In T20, Timothy.
In T20, no.
T20, no.
But in ODI,
Oh, yes. Format.
probably it's white ball
Stats
cricket,
are amazing in ODI.
and he's going to transition. Into
Yeah, but recently in the franchise leagues, Shea Hope has been, his stock has been rising as a T20 batter.
Yeah.
So maybe they could have been looking at those tournaments as well. So,
Or maybe they looked at his ODI performances and the way he's led. Because I have some information here as it pertains to his ODI captaincy. And it says as of April 7th, he has captained the West Indies in 29 one-day internationals, achieving 15 wins and 14 losses. But during his captaincy, he has amassed 1,135 runs at an average of 54.5. Also, he has scored 4 centuries as captain, placing him alongside the likes of Chris Gayle and Brian Lara, who have 5. He made a century against England and he equaled Desmond Haynes' record with the 17th ODI century, becoming the 3rd highest century maker for the West Indies. I mean, we can't forget to mention his batting average, above 50, 54, I think. And that surpassed Chris Gayle, who as captain had a batting average of 43.68. So all these different stats in his one-day international career, I mean, they might step out on a limb. So let's give him a chance and see how he'll do in T20. And he has been proving himself in terms of his batting in T20. So I guess it's a gamble that we have to take. Life is all about gambles.
Well, I would even go further. He's proven that he can bat in Test cricket. Those back-to-back hundreds at Lords. You got to bat to be able to make 20 hundreds at Lords.
Yeah.
And he's a classical batter, good technique, and I would go as far as to say he could be the next West Indies Test captain also.
Sean, we had this
can't
argument
write
that
no.
that Hope is not the best person to be
Why?
West
Why?
Indies.
Why not?
The stats are coming. Here we have.
No, you don't judge people on
right?
stats
He has
alone.
played 38 test match for the West
Alright,
Indies,
we
right?
understand that.
Hold on, he has twin centuries against England.
Yes.
Right? Remember Carlos Brathwaite scored 24 runs in the final. Remember
When
the
you
name?
finish, I will.
He averaged
Tim, hurry up with the stats.
19.75 in test matches in 2019, and between 2018 and 2020, he played 20 innings and had an average of 18.48. The silver average still higher than Hope one.
So would you say, based on stats, that Shivnarine Chandrapal is a better batsman than Sir Vivian Richards? He's got more runs,
Yeah.
he's got more centuries, and he's got a better average.
In what format?
The stats,
Test cricket.
the stats don't lie, Sean. I go with the stats. Whatever the stats say.
So you would be a person that would say Chandrapal is a better batsman in the all-time West Indies team and leave
what you are trying to do is run a psychology on me, Sean. But we're not looking at Chandrapal and Vic, who are two greats
But you
of the
just
game.
talk about
But we're
stats.
looking at the silver and we're looking at Hope.
Yes,
Who said we're looking at the silver? Pause.
You're looking at the silver.
Sean, you taking me
Why
back to
are you
the
doing
ancient
silver?
days, Sean. We can't compare those two guys. We want to
Well,
look at these two.
Yes, the silver is a better keeper than Imlak.
Yeah.
Who said
No,
that?
who said that? No.
I didn't say no.
Sean said that.
Sean said that.
I said
Sean
that.
was asking a
I
question.
asked you.
I thought-
The silver is a better keeper than Imlak.
No, I believe I could keep better than the silver now.
Well, you can't keep better than the silver, but you're not
But
far
I don't,
away.
I don't think
Yeah.
Hope deserves to be the
Why?
test captain. Well, I just give you the
Because of
reason.
his
Because of
ODI,
his stats,
ODI
yeah.
and
Because of his
T20, I
stats.
have no problem. I know he will excel and he'll take West Indies far. West Indies need, in Test cricket, West Indies need somebody
as you
fresh.
began, you said
Hope
there's
is
no
fresh.
likely person that stand out as West Indies captain.
I said Joshua De Silva, Sean.
No. I said that. I
Oh,
don't.
yeah, but
I can't see
I know
anybody
they will
right now.
give De Silva.
No, I think at this point, we're basically deducing who will be the captain based on what we already have in the team. We're looking at those probably 11 players who have been there
Yeah.
consistently for probably the past 2 or 3 years. And we're saying, all right, if not this person, not that person. Of course, Joshua De Silva being the vice captain on the Craig Brathwaite.
But he was
Puts-
dropped.
Exactly.
on
That
the
is
vice captain
exactly.
in
I'm
Pakistan,
getting to that.
And Imlak wicket kept very good.
Good. So,
Yeah.
I mean, how can you put your trust in a player that you just dropped from vice captaincy because of his form? If you can't trust him with that, why are you making him captain? I'm throwing my bid in for Shea Hope. And here's why I think Shea Hope is going to be the all-format captain for West Indies. We have an all-format coach. And Darren Sammy has clearly just displayed,
Yes.
based on everything
agree
he
with
said
you.
about Shea Hope last week, that Shea Hope is a player for him.
For him.
There is no other player that Darren Sammy has focused on that he spoke so eloquently and so highly of
Yep.
last week other than Shea Hope. Shea Hope is his player.
And
I
Shea
won't
Hope
be
is a good
surprised
leader.
Yeah. Well,
for international
Well,
cricket.
all we can do is debate.
And Imlak would have the vice captaincy
He should have the
Yeah,
vice
should.
captaincy.
because he's been groomed as a future captain when Shea
I
Hope
agree with that.
and
goes.
he won 2 tournaments.
And I would also say have Joshua De Silva as a batter in the team.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't take Joshua De Silva out of the team so,
Yeah.
rashly. He deserves a chance to not have pressure on him
All right.
and see how he performs.
We can debate on this an entire day and still have no definite supposition, right?
Yeah.
So let's move on to the other trending thing in West Indies cricket, which is Dwayne Bravo's
Oh, no.
utterances about Rovman Powell being dropped as
Bravo don't ever hold back him.
as the
That's why I
T20I
love
captain,
Bravo.
right? So Bravo said, as a
You have
former
the quote.
player and a fan of West Indies cricket, this is easily one of the worst decisions ever made. I think he's speaking to the fact that when Rovman Powell took over, we were at 9th in the world ranking. And currently, we're ranked 3rd. Right? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Either third or fourth. What else?
One out of the two. But the mere fact that he dragged us from the bottom closer to the top, that means he did an excellent job as a captain, as a leader. On the personal side, however, that's another story.
You see,
It's,
I was just about to ask, right?
yes.
what was his contribution to
To the rise,
to
right?
the rise? His personal
Leadership.
contribution, leadership, and encouragement
Let
and
me check the stats.
kind words. Because I mean, a lot of people are talking about, oh, he brought us from 9th to 3rd place. I think 3rd place was at one point last year, and I'm not contesting that. I have no problem with thinking that way. But we also have to remember that West Indies just lost the T20 World Cup under his leadership.
Yes.
So how can we say that, oh, we had such an amazing captain,
Playing the
but we
devil's
lost the
advocate.
World Cup
Playing
at
the
home?
devil's advocate
Yes,
now.
Sean.
Do you rather the captain doesn't contribute personally and the team wins, or the captain contributes and the team loses?
But if we won, then we won't be having this discussion.
True.
We didn't win,
But
and the captain
you guys
wasn't contributed.
remembered Darren Sammy's contribution as a winning World Cup captain.
No, but
on both
Sammy,
occasions.
Sammy,
Not much.
Sammy was
But leadership.
inspirational.
Right.
Exactly.
Right, so that's the thin line, and that's the difference with Rosman and him.
With West Indies cricket, more often than not, when a player assumes the captaincy, their form tends to suffer. And
I think we've seen that with the last few captains.
Yes.
Jason Holder, Nicholas Puran, Ravman becomes one.
Yes.
Who else? Carlos
Brathwaite,
was
Craig Brathwaite.
And
Craig
Carlos
Brathwaite.
was a
And
captain.
Carlos.
True.
The pressure is too much.
Yeah.
That's what he
Captaining
said.
and
And
batting.
that is why I said he's going to make a good match for the T. Shai Hope is going to make a good match for the T20 team, because under his leadership as the West Indies captain, he has an average of 54 points something. So he adapt well to the role and make runs. So I think he'll do well for the T20 team as well. So I'm going to be getting to the test match thing. I know you want to tell me about it. I know.
All right, guys. So we just basically spoke about I want to say, the zombie of West Indies captaincy and what it does to these players' form when they're out there. What would be your advice to the new captain coming in? Of course, Shai Hope is already in the position, but when it comes to tests, West Indies haven't been that good. They've had some great performances, but basically you're bringing a team from the bottom up again. What would be your advice to the new test captain?
Block out the outside noise from the big uncles around the Caribbean. Right? and focus on your game. Social media is such a big thing now, and it's difficult for players not to hear or see certain things. But you guys need to come off social media for a while.
Agreed.
Right? And focus on the cricket, not the outside noise.
My advice would be to inculcate a positive mindset, unity in the team, like a family, and I think Shai Hope is likely to do that with Imlak as his deputy.
All right.
Quickly, if it's Shai Hope, then you don't have to tell him anything. He's done a great job as the ODI captain, so he'll do great there. But if it's not Shai Hope, reach out to Shai Hope and say, what have you been doing to do so great as captain? And then try to imitate that style of leadership, and it'll work for you.
I'll just echo Brandon and say, block out the outside noise, focus on your game, work on your craft. Not because you're captain, that means you arrive.
No.
Yeah.
Continue working as an individual player. You're a professional, work on your profession.
And of all the three candidates we've spoken about, Shai Hope has captained the West Indies more times than any of them.
Sean, you gonna dream about this thing.
All right.
Sean, we
You
understand.
know, we won't hear the end of it if Shai Hope is actually appointed as
You
captain.
won't hear the end of it from me, I know. All right, guys. Thank you so much for your input. It is my hope that if the future West Indies Test captain is watching, probably tonight or sometime down the line, that he takes the advice you guys have given and puts it into his game so that we can see a better era for West Indies Test matches in the future. We're going to take a break right now, and then when we get back, it's time for you guys to pick your player of the week. I already know who's gonna win, so stay with us. This is HowZat.
Power through anything with Pulse Energy Drink. Choose from mango, sugar-free, and original. Get charged with Pulse.
back, guys. You're tuned into HowZat. We're filming live from beautiful Guyana. We're at the Everest Cricket Club ground. We want to thank them for hosting us, and of course, to Edward B. Bihari for sponsoring us with the Pulse Energy drink and electrolyte drink this week. So, guys, it's time for the Player of the Week. It's time to make these picks, and before anybody decides to pope my selections, let me just go right off the bat. So, local, regional, international. That's the sequence. All right. Local Player of the Week, Shamar Apple, again has proved how talented and how consistent he is as a batter. Not just as a batter, because I noticed in the Under 17 tournament, Apple had quite a few stumpings. So he's also showing his worth with the gloves behind the wicket. My regional Player of the Week has to be Kevlon Anderson. Dug the Guyana Harpy Eagles out of a hole in that first innings against the Leeward Islands Hurricanes with 77, and followed it up with 101. Big stuff from the next Guyanese test player. I'm going to boldly say that. And of course, my international Player of the Week. Are you even surprised? It's Virat Kohli. 67 from 42 on Monday against the Mumbai Indians. So yeah, was this just the size and the drain of energy around the table?
My ears bleeding.
Y'all thought I would pick another international player?
RCB, Virat.
Y'all thought I would-
And then you two wear red to support her.
Thank you very much for the support, guys.
Comrades. Comrades, yes.
Who's next?
All right, let me go. Local Player of the Week. It's been a losing effort from Borby's captain. I think it's Romario Ramdial. He had 2 half centuries in the first 2 outings, and then he followed that up with a 43.
Yeah,
So he will be my Player of the Week, and he came a long way actually. Playing at Rosal, Kanji, and now he's the captain of the Borby's team. Probably will be the captain or the vice captain of Guyana. So he's one for the future also. Regionally, it has to be Kevlon Anderson. Mainly, not only because of that century, but because of his consistency and his application as a batsman, especially in that first innings. Wickets fell around him, but he stood firm in that first innings. My international Player of the Week, I wish it was the guy in pink at Rajasthan Royals, but I have to go with Shorefin Rutherford. Why? Not because I'm wearing blue, but because of his consistency, and every time he got the opportunity as the impact sub, he actually went and make an impact. So those are my 3 players. Nothing controversial this week.
I thought you would have said actually something. That guy made a half century.
Yeah, well, my 3 would be, of course, Shamar Apple. I was thinking of the guy from Bartica, Jeffrey, but he came into town and he didn't do so well in his first match. So leaving for a little to develop. But Shamar Apple, he was the man of the series for the Under 17 tournament, which your guy, you picked Player of the Week, played in. And so he's the local Player of the Week, the international Player of the Week. We can't go wrong. Kevin Anderson. But he's got to now understand that you got to get big runs. His highest score is 153. That's the only time he's passed 150. He's gotten 5 centuries. We've got to go on to get bigger scores.
100s.
Yeah. So he's certainly and plus he's second on the runs list.
Yeah.
Second to a veteran who is not likely to make back the West Indies team.
Let you forget.
Good. So, and my
International
Player of the Week, of course, is Shorefin Rutherford for his consistency and his impact he's made.
I'm feeling really great. Thank you guys for calling the day. Thank you, comrades.
Don't tell us you're an international player. Just let's do
We
one
are
regional
international player.
and get over.
One of my favorite players, Shorefin Rutherford, an average of 64.50 and a strike rate of 176. I'll go next with Ronaldo Ali Mohammed because from his 6 games, he has taken 25 wickets and I think he's number 4 in terms of leading wicket takers in the tournament. That's very good. And my final pick will be the double centurion Sachin Bhagabin because at the end of the day, a double century is a double century and it's hard work you got to put in to make that run. So That's my tree.
Never mind, he was playing a team of
Like,
top players.
It doesn't matter how the challenge is
Runs
come
is
as
runs.
long as you succeed.
He gets a back way, bossy back. Right?
Exactly.
Alright, so it was quite an internal debate for me for my players of the week because I watched so much local cricket over the weekend, right? But I have to go with Shamar Apple purely based on the fact that he took the under-17 tournament and made it his own with the bat. And if you watch the guy bat, he's fearless, right? I noticed one of his favorite shots is that slug sweep, and that goes quite a distance.
Yeah.
But anyway, Shamar is my local player of the week. Regional, I don't have any international players because Puran has been out of Nick for the last couple of matches. But let's not talk about that. So I have Kevlon Anderson and Tevin Imlach, right? It's a toss-up between the two. Those complete my three. Why I nominated Tevin is because of the way that he constructed his innings. It was gritty, it was hard. And do you know that in that century, he only scored 3 boundaries in 200 odd balls?
Fitness, man. Extreme.
So he had a lot of running, right?
Extreme, yeah.
But were I to nominate the standout among my 3, it would be Kevlon Anderson. And I do agree with you guys that he is going to be the next test player out of Guyana. So Kevlon gets my vote for this week.
Alright, well, I don't think it was unanimous, but it's pretty easy to pick out who's the player of the week.
Yeah.
I think this is second time that Kevlon Anderson is the player of the week.
The boy has been consistent.
Yeah. Very consistent this
Is it
season.
Kevlon or
No,
is it
Tevin had two.
Hey, can't be
Timothy.
sharp.
Sharpin.
There's only 3.
No.
Kevlon.
Kevlon, yeah.
So there's not 3
Don't
people?
be campaigning for you playing.
Not because he got done.
Definitely.
Even better. So please get me a Godra Titans jersey.
So it's not unanimous, but it's definitely a good consensus that Kevlon Anderson is the player of the week for us this week. I think it's 172 runs in the last West Indies Championships match against the Leeward Islands Hurricanes. Really brought West Indies, really brought the Harpy Eagles to that
a century
draw.
first innings and a big half.
They
century
needed
in
it.
the
They
second
really
innings,
needed
yeah.
it. So we're going to take a break right now, and then when we get back, it's time for the money segment. Stay with us.
Power through anything with Pulse Energy Drink. Choose from mango, sugar-free, and original. Get charged with Pulse.
Guyana TV Network.
Welcome back to HowZat, your weekly cricket TV talk show. And of course, this segment is the one that I know my co-hosts like to get down and dirty in. And as well, it's a money segment. And today we have last week's winner here with us, and Brandon got the load to give him there.
I really want to keep it, but then you deserve it.
Thank
Yes.
Thank you.
And I'll allow our winner to introduce himself to you, the fans.
All right, good morning, everyone. My name is Brian Bowen. 20 years old, foreign service officer in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Cricketer as well, huge cricket enthusiast as well. So it was a great opportunity just starting on, and I enjoy the show weekly. So when I came across this segment, I was pretty excited. And now it feels even more better knowing that I've won. So grateful for that.
Did you have a hard time finding the answer to those questions?
2. I knew one of the answers off my head.
Because you're a pretty young guy, so
Yeah.
the history of the game probably,
Yes.
you know.
Elusive.
But I do a lot of reading. I do a lot of reading.
The guy who thinks, yeah.
That's good. That's good.
So I think the first question it was the four Guyanese cricketers with over 100 test wickets. That was kind of tricky.
No.
No. Sean,
That's why Sean can't participate.
You see? So that answer, I think it was Lance Gibbs, Devendra Bishu, Colin Croft, and Sir Carl Hooper.
Yes.
And the other question was which Guyanese had the most first class or regional first class wickets? And that was
That's a giveaway, man. That's a giveaway.
That was a giveaway.
Yeah. And then the other question, that was kind of tricky, I would think. No.
Jack Callis is my
Well, you're a true cricket fan, so you would know. And that question was who is the only player besides Carl Hooper to achieve Sir Carl Hooper to achieve 5,100 wickets and 100 catches in both Test and ODI cricket. I don't think anybody else can do that at this point with how the cricket is.
Too little cricket.
And too much T20 cricket.
Take about a decade to do that.
Yeah. So congratulations again. Can he participate again and win next week?
No, unfortunately
not. I like that. Yeah.
Still tune in. I'll still tune in.
Of course.
Because I always enjoy the show.
So,
Alright, so this week you'll get a chance to join in our discussions based on questions that are sent to us from members of the audience. First question is from Ronaldo King, and he says, I don't understand why people fighting down Dhoni. The man isn't a miracle worker. He alone is supposed to save CSK from losing. I mean, atrocious start to the IPL, this year's IPL for CSK. And I, for one, think that's a retirement home. So, Kohli just leading the retirees. So,
Just correct yourself. Correct yourself. Why
Why
is my play on your mind? Just
I
correct
know what you're
yourself.
saying.
Alright, guys. So, what do you think about the season so far for CSK? I mean, we're in the early days, we're in the second week.
Poor with a capital P.
Poor with a capital P.
Let me tell you something. You know what they say in life? You must never give up, but Dhoni needs to give up. That's what I'm telling you. Because he's old, he's struggling, he's not seeing the ball. He's batting at 8, then 9, then all over the place.
He batted at 8, 9.
We don't have to speak about him.
Dhoni needs to just let go. Maybe it's time for him to move on as a mentor for CSK. Because
But people pay their money to see Dhoni.
Yes,
but they can see him as a mentor.
Yeah. Want to see him back
Because
in.
he is going to be the downfall of CSK if he continues to play. And we've seen it in the first 4 or 5 games.
But the tournament has now started.
Give
So
the man a chance.
CSK started badly, but we all know Dhoni.
What position they got last year, Sean?
I don't know. I don't
It was because of MS Dhoni.
Oh
Years they have been asking, retire. I think stick breaking the ears or
But
something.
billions of fans come
Disagree.
out to see
Yes.
Dhoni back.
Millions of
And
fans.
That's
keep,
true.
even when he went to cut his hair, when he said if he won the World Cup, he'd go and cut his hair, 10,000 people went outside the barber shop.
10,000 people that have nothing better to do.
They love cricket.
So, anybody here's a CSK fan? I mean, we picked our teams at the start of the season.
Not feeling it.
Crickets.
CSK.
Crickets at the table.
Over 5 to team.
We only
So, it
visited
should be a Masters team.
Yeah.
Alright, so, we don't have a lot to say on MS Dhoni and CSK. He's probably like an idol in India. Not like he's an idol
He
in
is,
India
yeah.
to the people. And I think he'll be there as long as he continues to generate interest from the fans. Much
and
like
income as well.
Yeah,
And
but
income,
this is all
right,
about
right.
the money, you know. This
Yeah,
is
it's
not
about the
about
money.
performance
Right.
and those things. Once you're there, people will come to see you and they will have to pay.
They
Yep.
could see you on the bench when the team comes out to warm up. He can come out with them and he can bat some
Agreed.
balls to the players. And then he could walk around the perimeter, the boundary, and carry water and them things. They could see him. He doesn't need to be playing for them to see him.
Alright, guys.
Disrespecting the big man.
So should Michael Prasad, by the way, should West Indies still play Test cricket They can't even find a captain for the test squad.
Nobody said that.
Nobody
Who said that they can't find a captain?
Who said that?
Nobody said they can't find a captain. The people just
Michael
waiting to
Basad, if
announce.
you're looking out there, this question, pardon.
No,
This
the
is
people,
like,
You
the
ran
people
to
just
the
waiting
guy.
to announce Shea Hope as the All Format captain. That's all that's
Yeah, and
happening.
Imlak is
Joshua
vice
the
captain.
Silva.
Joshua the Silva.
Or Joshua
Yeah.
the
Alright.
Silva.
So,
Can't pull that out.
All three players would be in the team.
Yes.
Imlak,
let's
vice
ask our
captain.
guest, Sean, after you're done.
Yeah.
What do you think?
What do you think? Who you think would be the next West Indies test captain?
Given with all that has happened, I know they were like grooming Alzari for it, but with his recent disciplinary
I think I
issues-
told you guys this.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the only other person like
Don't
there,
disappoint me.
It's the Silva,
the
right?
only other person that is there will be Joshua De Silva. But he is not even a he's not even like a permanent fix in the team.
Exactly.
Right? So it's really a sketchy position to be in right now for West Indies cricket, but we always hope for fun.
Alright, so I was saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
Based on form, we know Joshua hasn't had any sort of substantial score in test cricket for the longest while. But at the regional level, that's where the selectors, get the talent pool. They select people that perform consistently, and Joshua has done so for this season.
Yeah.
Admirably, I must say. As
His
well.
last match he got 77.
Good. Although they lost.
Yeah.
Good job by the way, Scorpions, but let's leave that for Anyway, so I think Joshua, they should pick Joshua as a backup
Yep.
based on his form, and he will be named test captain, and Imlak will retain his wicket-keeper batsman position because he as well has been excellent. Yet another 100 again. So that's just my take on it. I don't know what my co-hosts have to say.
Well, I disagree with you. I would give Hope
You give hope.
the captaincy,
Mm.
Imlak vice captaincy
Mm.
because of his age, and Joshua De Silva can play as a batter. All three of them would be in my test team.
Sean, I beg to
Good.
differ. I beg
No,
to
no.
differ with Sean because here's what I was looking at, right? We look at the current performances in the regional 40. We see Imlak is doing well, De Silva is doing well. Obviously, with De Silva, who has more international games and what's under his belt. What I think they should do, they give him the captaincy, right? But you find a way to groom Imlak probably for the next 4 or 3 to 4
That's why I'm
years.
saying he's going to be the
That's
vice
a long time,
captain.
Timothy.
Pause. But Timothy, who is grooming him like Joshua De Silva?
Jesus Christ.
We got all the kinks work out, right? But at least from what I see they're doing, I don't want to say they're using a scapegoat, but De Silva is going to be our scapegoat until Imlak is ready to take up the mantle.
Here's what I
So
think.
why you don't want what you have against Hope getting the captaincy? He's led the West Indies already.
Yeah, but have you seen his test average?
Yeah, but here was the thing. I don't think at this point West Indies. I mean, let me look at Craig Brathwaite. His test average in the last 5 years hasn't been that beautiful either. I don't think West Indies will go the route of picking a captain on performance. They're going to pick somebody on leadership.
I agree
Somebody
with you,
that could lead
100%.
this young team into,
Yeah.
into back to the glory days, basically. And one of the things I looked at with West Indies' announcement was that why would you hold out the announcement for the test captain? You already told us who's going to be the new T20 captain. But what is the suspense about when it comes to the test captain? I feel like if it was Joshua De Silva, they would have said that. De Silva is already in the team.
So
There's the obvious what?
it's West Indies cricket. So
Yeah, the other scenario is right that I could only think that they're waiting for the current 4-day season to be done,
To end.
and this might be a far shot, but whoever wins it, the captain that wins it, they might name
Yeah.
him as the next test captain.
But
Well, if Imlak wins, I don't think
When
he's
Imlak
ready yet
wins.
for the. Well, when he wins,
Yes.
he's not ready yet for the test captaincy with 2 test matches.
Yes.
How would you put a man with 2 test matches? Give him the vice captaincy,
That's
let
why-
him learn on
but
the
that's
job.
not the wildest thing West Indies have ever done.
I heard a
No.
legend guy say they could even give it to Alicante Athletes.
No, Athletes can't make a
Athletes-
team.
listen,
Athletes
Athletes
has been
part
out
of the
of
team
form.
isn't even
Athletes cannot
secure.
make West Indies.
With Kevlin Anderson, the way he's batted.
But that's
Kevlin
how far
Anderson will be the
stretched
next
the teams are
Chinese
with the
test
captains.
cricketer.
Yeah, no, Anakin
sure.
even got a solid spot in the team.
All right, guys. So
Yes, yes.
let's move on to the third and final fun question, right? So Kavita Maniram asks, how can I get my son involved in cricket? He's 10 years old.
From Barbies?
Alright, you give us a
Ready
ready
for
for
recruits.
I mean, there's a lot of clubs there in Barbies. When you look at clubs for the youth right now, I think Rosa, Kanji, that's like one of the going clubs, and they have a structured system for the youths. Amir Rahman, I think, is the coach there.
Yeah.
And he's the Guyana and the 13 and under 15 coach.
Yeah.
So it's a structured system going on there. So if you're from Barbados, head down to Rosa or Kanji.
Only Rosa is the only
But
Rosa.
suppose
Rosa is
the
the
telling
recommendation.
is
Yes.
Alright.
You know,
So
I'm not from Kanji, but we have to give Jack.
So if the guy is or the lady is living in Corriverton, which
Yes.
is a nearer club that is
Yeah.
just a little bit worse than
Remember,
Kanji.
he's
No,
not
I
heading
wouldn't
for
recommend any of there, sorry. That's
Wow.
just the truth. That's just the truth. I'm being
What
honest.
about Albion?
Well, yeah, Albion, but you know, if he's from Corriverton, the closest would be Port Morant. Right? And then there's Rosal Town.
But
then
when I
Albion.
was going up there, which was a long time ago, I saw that Albion had the best developmental system for kids.
That was a very long time ago.
Times have changed.
Way before.
Yeah.
So
Alright, so-
what is Viman Walter doing?
Good question.
You gotta ask Vivan that.
No, remember Albion was under construction.
Yeah.
Right? So they were using
Chesney.
Yes, Chesney. And I'm not sure if they had access to the ground as they would have liked. So that's another thing.
Alright, so
All right.
looking more centrally, right? In Georgetown, there are loads of clubs. In Wolford,
First of all, you gotta find out where the person is from.
it depends on where the
Yeah.
person is from, right? So I could speak about Georgetown because I live in Georgetown. You live in Georgetown. Four of us live here in Georgetown.
I would recommend DCC.
ECC?
Yeah.
I would recommend transport.
You recommend transport?
Yeah.
To be honest, I think transport has
Michael, I was about to recommend GCC.
some. No, I was about to say, right? Before I go on, transport has one of the better youth teams right now. Some of the best underage youth players, and I think they got to be doing something right there to be churning
And their
out.
coaches have never played, not even senior into county, but they're dedicated to play, to developing youngsters. Sean Messiah
that's
and
excellent.
Ross is developing the youngsters.
Just come out swinging.
Yeah.
All right.
Those two guys are very good with youngsters.
All right. So what I would say to Kavita, right? If your son is in Georgetown, and you know you can't just throw children into a sport and expect them to stick there. So what you want to do is feel out the sport for us. And GCC actually has the KFC Mini Zingers program on Saturdays. You can just show up there with your son or your daughter because it caters for both genders. You can show up there, sign up, and you get them into the drills, see if they like it, see if they want to stick with it. And from there, you can actually choose a club that is closer to you or whichever club you think has the best youth program, right? So basically that's it in a nutshell in SCP, but I can't say because we don't know anything what's going on here. Good. So let's just move on because before I say something extremely controversial.
Please.
So that's it for our fun questions of the week. So now on to the money part, right? We have 3 questions here. Let's see what the producer has for you in store this week. So the first question is, 2 Australians are the only players who have appeared in 4 World Cup finals in 1996, 1999, 2003, and 2007. One is the legendary Glenn McGrath. Who is the other? That's an remember you can answer. An excellent question. So the second one, who won a winner's medal in the 2003 World Cup final without batting or bowling in the final match? So it's basically a participation medal. All right, good. So the third one, in the Hindi film 83, Tej Narayan Chandrapal, son of Shiv Narayan Chandrapal, played the role of which left-handed batsman from the West Indies? So the number for you to text the answer to is 646-1535. Remember, text all 3 correctly and in a timely manner, and you can be the next winner. You can be just like our friend here and join in on the discussion, collect your 20K, and that's it. So guys, do remember, stay tuned. We'll be right back with our next segment.
Power through anything with Pulse Energy Drink. Choose from mango, sugar-free, and original. Get charged with Pulse.
The future of Guyana cricket is here. Are you ready to catch every thrilling moment? Never miss a game, news, information, interviews, and more. Guyana cricket will now be live and exclusive on the Guyana TV network. Experience the heart-pounding excitement from anywhere in the world. Catch every second, every ball, every wicket that drops on GCB TV, the channel on the Guyana TV network app. Watching Guyana cricket has never been this exciting. The Guyana Cricket Board has its own cricket TV channel where you can watch all games live, get all your Guyana cricket news and updates, watch replays of games, access exclusive interviews and in-depth information. Stay connected. Stay informed. Never miss a game. Watch it all free on the Guyana TV network app. The future of Guyana cricket is here. Live and exclusive on the Guyana Cricket Board's own TV channel, GCB TV. Catch all the games worldwide on GCB TV on the Guyana TV network app. Don't miss out. Download the app now and be part of the action.
Guys, it's been an entertaining, exciting, not so controversial show this week because I kept my cool and I tend to agree with a lot of things, but don't count on it too much, guys. Don't count on it too much. We have a lot of cricket to look forward to, and a lot has been happening internationally, regionally. I think the regional 4-day tournament will end in the upcoming week.
Yes.
And it will be a finale between the Guyana Harpy Eagles and the Trinidad and Tobago Red Force, guys.
A real force.
A real force.
Yeah.
Guyana will win. I don't.
Yeah, go on, let's go on.
I think the loss for Trinidad will affect their juju a little bit.
And plus two of their main bowlers are in England playing county cricket.
Jaden Seals
Yeah.
and Anderson Phillip, I think.
Yeah. I think that that loss is going to rob them. And not just a loss, that was a big loss.
Yeah.
223 runs? I didn't
that.
expect it at all.
I didn't expect
Someone on social media put that the Trinidad team were missing a few key players. I said Moti, Shamar Joseph, and Shepard.
Yes.
I wouldn't think that Hetty Meyer would have missed
Yeah.
IPL for this, nor Rutherford, but
That
at
was
least
a
I
big
was
shock.
thinking that Moti, Shepard, and Shamar would have been available. That would have been a bomb squad, especially the bowling.
And to think of the difference, especially Moti would have made
Yeah.
on that Saturday afternoon when they needed those 7 more wickets in an hour. I think if Moti was there, they wanted to
Yeah,
settle
he's
for the
played
draw.
only 3 matches. He's gotten 18 wickets already.
Yeah.
See that?
Yeah.
Six wickets every match. Well, well, remember, guys, we are live from Everest Cricket Club, and this show is also for the fans. So, what should the fans look forward to next week?
I mean, a lot of cricket happening, so a lot of updates they can look forward to. We'll probably have a celebration of sorts next week when, you know.
They could look forward to another 20 grand next week.
More
Well-
than the last.
Yeah.
Remember, you know, give them a reminder about the number.
And the questions,
And the
Michelangelo.
questions.
The number actually is 646-1535. I actually stored that number in my phone because I was thinking.
Brandon, you can't answer the question.
We're on the same page. We're on the
Your
same
mother
page.
can't answer the
Oh.
questions. Your father can't answer the question. Even if it's your cousin, we gonna find out. We will find out.
Sad.
What about if it's somebody the same surname, but I don't know them?
Aye.
Y'all getting too smart for these things.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad we actually had the guest, the winner, as a guest on the show.
We'll have a winner next week.
And hopefully
We'll have a winner from the Harpy Eagles next
So
week.
you out there now see that there is an actual winner.
Yeah, this is no joke.
Yeah.
This is not
So
joke.
you will get the
We're
money.
not taking the money
They,
for
they, they
ourselves.
had the
Exactly.
greenies in the envelope. I
Yes.
think it was showing
Yeah.
in the panel. or
Yes,
what?
yes,
Loud and
yes.
clear. Loud and
All right.
So we have a lot to look forward to in the upcoming week, and the fans should. I really wish a fan from Borbies can win, so I can bring them.
Ah, boy, be sure. You gonna bring them out with you?
Yeah.
Alright,
And
good.
split the money.
Gas money,
Tell them
man,
it's
that's
transportation.
Yep.
Alright guys, that's all for us from HowZat for this week. Of course, your weekly cricket TV talk show. Join us again next Wednesday at 8 p.m. for another edition of HowZat. We'll have so much more in store. Quite a few tournaments happening, as we've previously mentioned. So there's a lot more to look forward to next week. Do remember to join us again. We're signing off for now.
Power through anything with Pulse Energy Drink. Choose from mango, sugar-free, and original. Get charged with Pulse.
Guyana TV Network.